Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about something we haven't talked about in a while. Yay.
I know,
She-Ra.
thrilled.
She-Ra. We're going to talk about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power as it relates to Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation series.
You need to pause for a moment just to give them time to go do the hell of downvotes from all the rereads that are coming in. The she-reads. Ready? Give a second. Okay, you can continue now.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure we got like 30, 40 downvotes already. And
That's all the fans.
All the fans.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this because, these articles have been popping up now that they're trying to promote the series, and it seems to me like Kevin Smith is trying to preemptively do some damage control because I think he knows. I think he's seen enough. He probably watches us.
He's seen some shit. We've lived the shit.
He's seen some shit. I think he knows on some level, whether it's from watching YouTube or from his own experience. I'm sure he's probably getting email himself, or from Mattel. He knows that some She-Ra fans are batshit crazy, and they're probably already harassing him because in their minds, why would there be not one but two new He-Man series?
Right, and Kevin Smith will put She-Ra in it, even though I think the properties aren't divided that way.
No, but why does He-Man get two series and She-Ra got canceled after 5 seasons? There's
5 seasons being a few episodes each.
2 seasons that were split up into 5 Netflix seasons. Yeah, and they've been demanding more She-Ra.
Well, when they demand, it's okay. When I demand they actually give us She-Ra that's like She-Ra, I'm a terrible person.
I don't even think they're going to go anywhere near She-Ra.
They're smart, they won't.
In this series, But we're going to talk about that and some other stuff he said about the show that's basically taking inspiration from everything but He-Man.
He did say that, actually.
Anyway, here's the thing. Before we get into this, I want to disclaim this. I'm not saying the show's going to be bad.
We don't know yet.
We don't know. The stills look pretty good. We know that Powerhouse Animation is good. The voice cast is good. I think it will be, the production values will be very, very good. However, again, the problem we had was that we had someone close to the production leaking details, plot details to us about the show.
It wasn't just that. When it was presented the first time, it was the same things were being kind of said
publicly
in the synopsis. That
the show would basically see He-Man get sidelined. Teela would effectively take over for a good chunk of the show. She would have a very close female friend. We were told, no, you're a bunch of liars. We got dragged through multiple media outlets calling us liars because Kevin Smith said so. And sure enough, one of the first images to pop up in Entertainment Weekly seemed to confirm what we'd heard. Again, I'm not saying the show is going to be bad, but damn it, we told you so.
And we also want it to be good. We don't want.
Yeah, we want to suck.
God after She-Ra, we sure as hell don't want bad He-Man.
No,
none of us want that. We're hoping that it turns out that it turns out to be good. That's what we're hoping for. That's our highest hope. That being said,
I think he's terrified of the She-Ras.
Yeah, Kevin, I agree.
Kevin, if you're listening, yes, they are absolutely some of the worst cartoon fans on the internet. Good luck with that. We had years of having to deal with them, and they're going to be very, very pissed that He-Man is getting 2 series.
But wait till you see his article.
Yeah, he's singing the praises.
Yeah, but as he's simultaneously throwing it under the bus. It's funny.
He is also throwing it under the bus. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 192,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Kevin Smith is very good at working the media. For sure. He's always...
Oh, they're always kissing his ass.
Kevin Smith, how many headlines are out there? Kevin Smith cried about XYZ thing.
What makes me mad is the fact that we put a thing on Twitter and he has a meltdown and they do articles about Kevin Smith, going on us. But meanwhile, Kevin Smith gets stuff wrong all the damn time.
But he's Kevin Smith.
Right. And he's allowed he's allowed to say he heard this or heard that and it's wrong and that's fine.
Irony in all this being is that once upon a year, Kevin Smith was pretty much in the same place we're in right now, where he made a career out of shitting on Hollywood,
calling them out.
Anyway, I'm just putting that out there. Now he's one of them. So Kevin Smith describes the show's differences from She-Ra, and this does sound like a backhand slap. I think he slapped a bitch. So they're talking about the show.
Yourself.
They talked about the show coming out, Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's coming out in July. And it seems as if Smith and his crew are looking to leave their mark on the fan favorite franchise. Oh boy.
They always want to leave their mark.
Yeah, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power debuted on Netflix in 2018 and took a radical new approach.
Oh, that's putting it mildly.
Radical to the heroine of Eternia, coming to an end in 2020 with several seasons. No.
Several. It's equivalent of like 2, maybe.
And a big fan following of batshit crazy
A big
stans.
fan following. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big fan following when you count all their alt accounts.
So they got this from this article on IO9.
Yeah, it's better to go through the article on IO9 because it gives you more the interview and more quotes to go by.
All right.
So
it said IO9 spoke with Smith, who explained that while he's in awe of what the team did with She-Ra,
that's one way of putting it. A lot of us were in awe, and that doesn't necessarily mean a good thing.
my jaw dropped when I watched the first episode. I'm like, what the fuck?
But even though I really like what they did. Wink, wink. We're going in a completely different direction.
Yeah, he said Revelation is going in another direction. This is what he said.
This is interesting. Yeah.
Our manifest was to be fan servicey.
Yes, but there was some fan service going on with the other show, but it was more if you accepted it as the only version and disregard the fact that it existed many, many years before as a completely different show, and you wanted to ship everyone.
We did not have a kind of creative, let's call it freedom, to reinvent the franchise the way that She-Ra did it brilliantly.
It didn't do it brilliantly.
Noelle Stevenson's She-Ra cartoon played to a lot more people than it probably ever would have played if they had just kept it in its original incarnation. No, actually, I think it alienated quite a few original fans.
Mm-hmm. Well, he even says his version is going to be for the fans. And then basically, if you're reading between the lines, our version's fan servicey and for the fans. And we're not trying to reinvent anything. Not like She-Ra, who clearly wasn't for the fans. I mean, that's kind of what he's saying. And if you read between the lines,
Pretty much.
But don't cancel me or come after me on Twitter.
But She-Ra, even in its era, wasn't as well known as He-Man.
Bullshit.
I think I call shenanigans on that one. She-Ra and He-Man were...
They ran back to back.
They did.
Usually if you watched one, you watched the other. And then, like you brought up to me earlier, the movie
was all about She-Ra.
Yeah. You know, so I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
So there's more room for creativity with She-Ra. In fact, that's what they were allowed to do. Now,
there wasn't room for it there. They just shoved it in anyway.
Big difference here. We've talked about this before. This He-Man show seems to have Mattel working directly on it.
Yes.
The She-Ra series was DreamWorks, and DreamWorks basically they scooped up a bunch of licenses to classic IP. She-Ra was one of them, but I think they were like, yeah, we don't really give a shit. Mattel's probably looking at this like, we gotta sell toys.
They already started bringing toys out.
They already have the toys out.
I guess there's a several-year plan where they started with the origins, and it was to make sure they sold toys and things with these shows and movies. They were not involved. They didn't even bring dolls out to the very end, and by then people didn't give a shit.
Well, they're probably, yeah, and they weren't for collectors. If they would have brought out the classic She-Ra dolls as big, like 18-inch dolls.
They had those.
Yeah.
Remember they had pictures of them? Oh my God, I would have bought every one. Yeah. I know a whole bunch of people who would have bought every one of those dolls. But no.
But look at now, compare Mattel with Hasbro. Hasbro is killing it right now with Transformers, and they're going back to G1. They're bringing G1 characters out. They're doing movie anniversary figures, and it's hard to find them.
They're just killing Care Bears.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing the Care Bears now. It's
that's right.
They gave it up. It's like some.
Oh, you're right. That's why they suck so bad.
That's why they suck. I think if Hasbro were doing them, I think it would go better. But they're not doing Strawberry Shortcake either. And they bought Kenner. I don't know what happened. But they're doing that, and then with Star Wars, they're killing it with retro action figures.
Oh yeah, we never have any at our store. Like they're always gone.
They're always gone compared to the Last Jedi shit that just sat there. So instead of reinvention, Smith and his team went the other way. They leaned hard into what the original animated series was, which is the only reason Smith took the job in the first place.
I hope this is true. I really, I sincerely hope this is true.
I hope it's true. I'm gonna be, if it turns out though that the show goes exactly the way we were told it was going to go, even if the show's good, but that we were correct, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. I'll be like, damn it, Kevin Smith, you dragged us out in public and had us get our asses chewed out by all these pop culture blogs that suck your dick.
And we weren't even making
Every
a
time
big
you
deal
cry.
about it.
No, we weren't making a big deal about
He
it.
did, but I'm like, but if it turns out that it is what he's saying, and it's going to be just like the show, and you're going to be happy with it and everything else, then I'll be happy to say that he's right and be happy to watch the show.
Yeah, I still, regardless of what, I still want the show to be good.
I do. I'm
care
hoping.
a lot about He-Man and She-Ra over here. Anyone who knows us will know this. And it was horrifying to watch what they did to She-Ra on Netflix. It was like, what the hell?
If I had a choice between doing the I was right gloat video or, oh, thank God that our source was wrong and, it's actually really good, I'd rather take the second.
All right. He said, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have taken the job if they were like, you get to reinvent He-Man.
Well, it sounds kind of like you are, though.
I'm really not that creative. I would not be the guy you'd tap to reinvent something. If you want to keep it going lovingly, true to the franchise, and just growing up the characters a little bit so their conversations are a little more adult, I'm your guy. He clarified, I certainly don't mean they're all talking about sex. No.
They're all about shipping.
There's no sex in the show whatsoever. It's definitely a family show that's metal and adult. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, look, again,
what was it? Did we talk about before about his inspirations?
No, we didn't. Okay, this is another artist. So he basically, now they're really trying to hype up this show. Mm-hmm. And he said, he's got a lot of inspiration from Star Wars. He said, for our incarnation of Masters of the Universe Revelation, it leans on every franchise that you love. There's a lot of Star Wars. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings. There's a lot of Marvel.
Well, I thought you were keeping it true to what it was and you weren't changing it or reinventing it.
But it's all the ingredients, the chief elements of Mattel characters that you know and love. But the DNA has baked into it a lot of satisfying other franchises that I love. So in my head, I've crossed over with all of them.
So, whoa. It's going to stay true to what it was because I don't want to reinvent things. But by the way, did I mention that all these shows, if you like Star Wars and all these other things, you're going to love it because we baked it into the DNA of the show.
But where's the Conan? Because He-Man was basically budget cut, unlicensed Conan.
But that's not the point. The point is, if you're throwing all that stuff into it, then how is it going to be He-Man?
Better be He-Man. Better be He-Man.
And which Star Wars are you talking about? The classic
God.
Star Wars or the new Star Wars? That makes a huge difference.
The prequel trilogy. So I don't know, guys. I mean, well, again, we'll see. It could totally be fine. It could be that everything we heard was true, but it's done in such a way that it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel,
I just think it's funny that he's like, but the She-Ra show was brilliant and wonderful, but we're not doing anything like that because we're not reinventing it. We're doing it actually for the fans.
Yeah.
And we're not going to put like sex and shipping type stuff in it. We're just doing a good show for the fans. Nothing like She-Ra, which basically says.
That was a backhand. He was trying to be very careful what he said, but I have a feeling if he was a fan of this stuff when he was younger.
If he's a fan, he says he wasn't going to like it.
But then the flip side is he's like way older than we are.
People said that. They said, why was he supposed to be into He-Man? They said, I find that hard to believe.
Like, I was little when He-Man first came out, like before the cartoon series, but I'm like, he would have been a teenager probably. Yeah, I don't know.
He could have been.
I don't know. I can just, I don't know. But we'll see. It could be good. I don't know. I'm just like, this is interesting because he is trying to do, I believe, preemptive damage control because
the She-Ras are going to come. You need to put the new She-Ra in there, and you need to make sure that the new She-Ra is in there, not the classic She-Ra, which fits with your show. The new She-Ra, because we have to make sure that we anchor her.
Yeah.
Even though this is classic He-Man, it would be the classic She-Ra that would fit his show, not the current year She-Ra.
Right, but the thing, these She-Ra stands are some. I'm good. Look, not everybody who's a fan of the show is demented for sure, but there are
most people aren't.
Most people aren't, but there are some She-Ra stands that are some of the most unhinged cartoon fans I have ever come across. I mean, I'm talking Steven Universe. I'm talking Gravity Falls. Some of the people that watch She-Ra are they're just batshit crazy. Mm-hmm.
The ones that have tried to talk to us before.
Yeah,
there's no discussing. It's just basically you're a terrible person because literally got told it was a bad mom who probably didn't let my kids watch. It was against LGBTQ people because I didn't like the new She-Ra. Because I said I didn't like her costume.
Is it problematic that they're promoting Masters of the Universe Revelation during Pride Month?
Why? Why would it be?
Because they're stepping over She-Ra.
But a lot of people that are LGBTQ liked classic He-Man and She-Ra.
And people keep forgetting that. They're like, finally, we're getting a She-Ra for gay people.
Well,
it's
you know, if you're going to leverage the Pride Month thing, then let's talk about all the people that worked on the original shows that were LGBTQ, because there were a lot of them, or that broke different glass ceilings, so to speak, because they were in very high elevated positions, doing what people that worked on She-Ra claimed they just did in the last few years. Finally, they finally were the ones to accomplish such things.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we were so disgusted at not just the show was like, okay, whatever. The biggest problem we had with She-Ra was actually the attitude of the people working on the show.
And the marketing.
The marketing, and then constantly throwing shade at Filmation and the crew that worked on the original, and just outright lies. They were using outright lies to market this show.
Well, the people have been as upset either if it was just a matter of, okay, well, this isn't for you and that's okay, but you were not allowed to not like that show.
No.
It wasn't because I just don't like the show, because it's not what I remember. And why are they changing She-Ra? It was because you were automatically some kind of horrible person for not liking their vision of the show. Well, I'm kind of waiting to see what happens here with these new He-Man shows, because, the one for Kevin Smith, he's claiming is very, very, very loyal to the original show. I mean, how's that going to go over? It's not going to be for these people. They might not like it, but they're not going to go with what they told us to do, which was, well, shut up and get over it. It's not for you. It's for the children, and move on. They're going to be like, well, I don't care if you say it's not for me. It has to be for me because I'm all that matters.
Yeah.
And it's just a big cluster. I'm very interested to see where this goes after the show comes out with the push for She-Ra, the new movie and all that crap that, no one wants, except for these people.
And the thing is that we're talking two totally different production companies. We're talking DreamWorks versus Mattel doing He-Man themselves. That it does kind of show you, with Mattel anyway, where they're at. They're like, well, Masters of the Universe is the flagship. We're not going to let anybody else mess with it. We're going to be in charge of that one.
It has to stay to He-Man.
Right, except for those really wonky looking action figures.
And except for the fact that it's like, but it's not just He-Man, it's Star Wars and Marvel and Lord of the Rings and all this other crap too. And
it could be good. I want it to be good.
Teal looks like a dude.
Teal looks like a dude. Yeah, I want it to be good. At the end of the day, I want it to be good. I just, I don't know. I just thought it's really interesting because I think he is trying to save himself from the She-Ries.
It's so good. It's so great. It's so wonderful. It did it so well. But we're not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the fans.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Kevin, because they will absolutely make you cry, those She-Ries. We're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
All right. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.